Welcome back. You're watching The Fix with me, Karima Brana, and I'm in conversation with economist Dr. Iraj Abedian as well as Lumkile Mondi. Lumkile, let me start with you. Government's economic plan is very much tied to its role of development finance institutions and also, of course, state-owned enterprises. We saw the Public Enterprises Minister deliver, a briefing to Parliament recently, giving an update. We've seen the developments at SAA, the stabilization at Eskom. Is state-owned enterprises still a strategy that needs to be pursued in the era of COVID-19?
Absolutely. There's two important areas where state-owned enterprises are going to be playing a critical role in the post-COVID-19 economy. The first one is a challenge-led role, where we want to see them shaping and creating new technologies, in certain cases, new sectors, which will help us address our societal goal mainly, particularly the lack of access to all amenities, whether it's transport, whether it's housing. These SOEs have a critical role in changing that and leading in that sector, because banks simply don't play that role that they expect them to. Secondly, is what we call the new venture support role. I think some of the technologies and R&D that will come from some of these SOEs, whether it's a Transnet, it's a newly reformed Eskom and restructured Eskom, or for that matter, Denel, they need to really, some of the technologies coming out of the R&D teams need to focus on creating new businesses, what is argued by Mazzucato as entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial state. So where the state can play a role is in those two areas, which I think we have missed a huge opportunity in the past 10 years. However, Karima, we need that capability. It cannot be jobs for pals. We need capable leadership. We need a commitment for them to drive society than to justify a party or individual interest, as you've seen in the past.
Dr. Abedian, do you concur with Lumkile? You've often been very critical of government's policy approach to SOEs as well as practical execution by, different series of executives at these institutions.
I think, Karima, but the problem is that if you say yes or no, it becomes a platform for a lot of corrupt politicians to create SOEs everywhere. We have a couple of hundred SOEs. Sure. Do I agree with all of them? Absolutely not. Some of them should be closed down yesterday. Do SOEs in a modern economy have a role? Yes, if we define their business plan, if we define their operational mandate and the targets that they achieve, and Lumkile quite aptly points out, if they are populated by capable people who deliver, not because they are politically correct or because they are the cousin of the minister or they are conduit for Guptas. So I think the issue that we need to deal with is stop generating as if there is a template. SOE doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It means abuse. Do SOEs, if defined in housing, in ports, in agriculture, in industry, they have a role? Absolutely. In housing, even in the health, but very importantly, as Lumkile highlighted it, and this is an economic principle, in research and development, there is a specific role that neither private or public sector can do. Having said that, Karima, may I also add that if we deal with SOEs but not deal with the public sector, we're going to fall flat badly. Sure. So let's not separate as if SOEs we can fix up and then government as a whole can continue the old rotten way.
I see, Lumkile, you're nodding your head there very vigorously. You agree, of course.
Absolutely. As long as we don't use South Africa's talent across political party lines, across racial lines, this country is going to underperform. So I think the pursuance of building a capable state based on race and political lines is the biggest mistake that we've made in the past 26 years. And I'm thinking that the president and together with his colleagues, they look at capability. We need capable people. The resources are limited. so that we can drive this new economy post-COVID-19 of South Africa together to ensure that we can build an inclusive society.
Dr. Abedian, there seems to be a false dichotomy emerging in discussions around the economy and how to protect jobs and to save livelihoods as well as lives. And people are, positing public health versus the economy. Surely it's the dialectic between this that we need to get right in order to ensure healthy South Africans, but also South Africans that can feed themselves.
Absolutely, and I would suggest that the dichotomy between saving lives and saving livelihood is quite frankly a false dichotomy. It's a dichotomy that we've created because the cabinet, not just in South Africa, globally, in most countries, if not all, have focused on the crisis because they've been so overwhelmed by the fear that they have, that they are paying attention to the immediate, most immediate, which is saving life, which is absolutely important. But at the same time, governing the society requires that you strike a balance between the two. We are creating liabilities in pursuit of, and we have to save lives. But at the same time, in the same cabinet, on the same day, we should press a button, so to speak, or put structures in place that will take care of livelihood. Because you cannot create liability for the future without now starting to build the assets that need to underpin that. And that is where our cabinet has gone wrong. Many other cabinets have gone wrong, but in South Africa, my appeal is that we need to pay urgent attention. As urgent as saving lives is putting the economy on a footing that will be able to pay back the debt that we create now.
Lumkile, if you agree with Dr. Abedian, what is the one thing that needs to happen to make real what he has just said?
Karima, I participate in the Small Business Institute. Our membership is black and white across various sectors, particularly in the small dorpies of South Africa, and promoting flora and fauna of the Republic, employing a diversity, a majority of black people. And yet, some of these entrepreneurs cannot access or get preference or equal access to some of the support mechanisms that are put on the table in the tourism, by the tourism minister. So it's things like those that I believe that, if we're going to create solidarity, we're going to create inclusivity, we need to understand the small business sector. And I think in this area, the minister and the cabinet are missing the point, because that's where we see a number of jobs being created. The personal services sector is also in that area where we're creating jobs. But yet, the requirements by government in this support, whether it's registration or tax compliance, these are too much in trying to ensure that the economy remains while we address our health challenges. So I think we need some innovation around allowing some of these sectors to go back if they meet particular requirements of testing, ensuring that every 2 hours people wash their hands, and the environment has been sanitized, and therefore so that you can at least maintain some businesses, create some opportunities for those, for many of those that at the moment are sitting at home and have to queue for food.
Dr. Abedian, I'm going to give you the final word. If we are to look at our economic fundamentals in terms of policy, give me one thing that needs to change as of yesterday and with speed that could imagine an economy within the reality of COVID-19.
The reality of COVID-19 and its impact on the global economy is that it has created a great deal of production and manufacturing opportunities for us in South Africa and for the region in SADC. As of yesterday, we got to put a team together, as Lumkile mentioned, using all the capabilities of the country, not all the capabilities of an incapable state. Put all the capabilities that we have across all lines and explore those opportunities, start doing them, invest in the manufacturing, invest in agro-processing, invest in a whole lot of services that pre-COVID-19 were not profitable. Today they are, and going forward there'll be more. And by doing that, we create a different type of economy. And of course, in the process, we have to pay attention to the fault lines of the state in education and other areas.
All right, that's where we leave it. Thank you so very much to Dr. Iraj Abedian, also economist Lumkile Monde. Well, you've had your fix for the week. Join me again next Sunday. Thank you for watching.